Welcome to the Mucked Up My Self-Care podcast.
I'm Jill from New York.
And I'm Linda from Tasmania.
We are two moms from opposite sides of the world who are living, demonstrating, and helping moms across the world build their self-care asset bank.
Ready to dive in? Messy, interrupted, imperfect, and most of all mucked up. Let's get going. Hello. Oh, it's starting to hit some daylight. I'm in darkness.
Yes, you can see out my window now.
Yep. And we are on the season of change.
Yeah.
Like, you know, that in between seasons, I feel like people pick up sicknesses more.
100%.
I think it's true, especially with coming into spring, the hay fever and pollen and stuff for me, and then going into autumn or fall.
Start of school, germs, and like, I don't know. Like it's always been allergies for me, both spring and fall. So I don't really know, like, I guess things dying and falling off are emitting more stuff in the air. I don't know, but it's
more wind maybe as well. Yeah.
True.
Just dust flying around. Yep. So that's part of my lows, actually. It's just the sickness that we've had. Still, it's not fun. Not fun, really.
It's not fun for any of us, really. All 4 kids and mom.
I took her to the doctor and she had a little bit of a runny nose. And so they're like, you have to wait in the car. I'm sorry. And we waited for over an hour in the car. And because it was an end of day appointment that I could get and they were running behind and they were so ratty and so over it and so just pulling the car apart with everything. And it was just
man.
And then I got in there and they're like, yes, it's probably pneumonia. It's just a virus or pneumonia or we don't really know. And
yeah, it's like, great. I just waited an hour for your uncertainty that I could. Same thing.
Yes. Anyway, yes.
Well,
so
very high too, because I don't want to leave
flip that around. My high, I think just catching up with friends, like not in person, obviously, because we've all been sick, but starting to find a few more friends around the neighbourhood who are just checking in here and there and sending messages about how you're going and anything I can do and all that sort of stuff as well. So that's been really nice, and just, you know, wave as we drive past and they're asking to come and play and all that sort of stuff. So that's been lovely because it's been tricky to try and bridge some gaps with some of the neighbours. Sometimes they're quite private.
Yeah.
Quite private about things, and so that's been good. Yeah. What about you? Highs and lows?
Let's see. I think my low is the tantrums that have come out between me and Declan this last couple of weeks. I don't know what is going on. Obviously for him, it's a sleepless thing. It's like, you obviously need a nap, but we can't give you a nap because it's too late in the day. You missed it. Or like, you're not napping throughout the week because of school. So like, let's not take a nap now. I don't know. So
overwhelmed from school, all sorts of melty moments for kids.
Things that he wanted to do, and then we were like, we're not going to make it. Like, the time just is not going to allow. Like, let's see if we could do it tomorrow. And just like, no, I want to do it now. Yeah, no. And with me being as sick as I've been, I haven't been able to hear well. I'm not able to speak well because I'm like hoarse in my throat. And I feel like I spent an entire day yelling at Declan, which he just had to yell back at me the whole day because he is feeling the same way. So he can't hear me and he can't talk loud enough for me to hear him. And I was just like so over it. over it.
Oh.
But I think my high is that we're going to talk cycle stuff. I just had a cycle and I had no like PMS at all this time. It was like a week earlier, I think, mixed in with my cold that I was experiencing. I had my headache then, and one day I had some cramping, but I'm like, oh, this feels like things are coming down the pike, but it didn't all happen right in the midst of it, which I'm so grateful for. But then my husband's like, I feel like it was a very mood thing this time. Your hormones were much higher at play. And I think Declan got the brunt of it. I'm like, well, at least it wasn't you, I guess. But I was just so like, this is actually really nice that I'm going painlessly through this right now. So it's something must be going right with some of the things that have changed and some supplements that I've started. So we'll see how that change happens.
Amazing. Yeah, really, really good. It's all that part of what we're actually talking about today. A great segue.
And loving yourself as
loving yourself and loving how you are in the world at any given point in time, and what that looks like, what your self-care looks like when you're loving yourself unconditionally, what it looks like when you may be mucking that up as well. So been there, done that, several moments. We're definitely not saying that we have all of this under control or perfect or anything like that. That's part of why it's the Mucked Up My Self-Care podcast.
Right.
But what comes to mind for you when you think about loving yourself as self-care?
To be honest, it's that age-old saying that self-care isn't selfish, and that we need self-care and we need to put ourselves first sometimes. And like how we've talked about in the past, you know, like putting our oxygen mask on first is one way we love ourselves. And it's not that we're ignoring loving on our children or anyone else. It's not about who gets to go first on receiving that love energy. It's about, are you remembering to take care of yourself? And the other thing is, you know, mothering the mother. That's something I was taught in the first few weeks postpartum with Declan. You know, it's about taking care of me too.
That's
what about for you? What bubbles up with loving yourself for self-care?
I think for me, it's definitely part of acceptance. So just recognizing where you are and what season you're in, or what other limitations you may have, such as sick children or awake children, or all sorts of things like that. So part of me being able to love myself as self-care is making sure that I'm not putting too many expectations on the self-care itself, and too many expectations on myself of what I want it to look like and how I want it to go and how many things I want to fit into the day as well, and realizing that sometimes it'll go well and other times it won't. Other times it's very mucked up.
Yeah, sometimes it's really mucked up. So, Linda, I know last episode we were talking about accepting help from others and, you know, how we can get support in self-care. But do you have ways that you're going to be loving on yourself this week on your calendar?
No.
How are you including it? Like
my calendar's pretty much had to be put in the bin.
No.
I did. My calendar
made the mistake of closing my calendar this weekend. I need to open it up today and take a good look at it. So I feel you.
Yeah, I did. When I planned my week last week, it looked very open to whatever the sickness was going to bring. And the fact it's the second week of school holidays, the fact that I'm here as the only adult in the house, the fact that this is the most that I've talked to another adult for a whole week.
Oh boy.
Linda, what do
Yeah.
that sound?
What?
That sound.
You hear the geese?
No, that sound.
Oh, I don't know.
It sounded.
Anyway.
No, it sounded Linda's office.
In my
Can
office.
you use that sound?
Oh, he wants your the thing on the womp 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 sound. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll do that after we're done recording here, honey. That way we don't hurt our listeners' ears.
Loving yourself is self-care. Wow, wow, wow,
Yeah.
wow.
Some real life sound effects going on.
Yeah, maybe not. No, I know this week has definitely been, that's not a good example to use this week.
Well, it might actually be though. Like, so is allowing, like, you planned ahead to allow the sickness to overwhelm your week. So there is a lot of white space. Is that you loving on yourself?
Put your one hand there.
Okay, hold on, baby. Is that giving yourself the space and grace to allow you to not be overwhelmed by the unnecessary pressures of making sure you're getting things done? Were you able to move things to different places in your week so you can not feel overwhelmed by things and just be able to take care of the kiddos? Because we know, if you're not taking care of them and yourself, how much worse it will end up just becoming. So
I'm really missing writing, like sitting down to write. That's what I'm missing a lot right now, because it is a great outlet. And I even said to you when I was trying to put Sigrid to sleep tonight, it was a long time that she wouldn't settle, because she'd finally almost get there and then something would startle her, or something would wake her up, or she'd start singing or humming or slapping me in the face or like whatever else. And I was laying there and I literally had a video scripted perfect. I had a video scripted in my head and I was like, oh, I wish I could just write down the basic notes of this or go and record this right now, because it's really good. And now it's lost.
Those creative moments when we're nap trapped, it's like, I can't voice record this because my voice will wake up the baby. I can't see and my hands are trapped, so I can't write anything down. It's like, I wish I could record my thoughts somehow internally.
And I was trying to put on, I went onto YouTube and I had sleep fast music, like deep hypnotic calming nature sounds and music, and trying to see if that would work, because that works sometimes. It didn't work. I ended up turning it off because I was like, this is just,
oh my gosh,
nothing's working. So hopefully it will be better tomorrow night. Hopefully tomorrow's not too tired.
Yeah.
She can make it through, but it is really hard to love the week that looks like a big fat no on your calendar to loving yourself and self-care.
And I just came out of a week like that with Declan getting over a cold and me being the recipient of that being passed over throughout the family. So like, I was uncomfortable taking off the time and not showing up hours for work and just resting. It sucked. Like, but I had to take care of me and love on myself.
Yep. as you have to mute and listen to a toddler right now. He's got something crucial to say. It's really hard when they need so much of you and you want to love on them, but also loving yourself. It needs to fit in there.
It does. I think one of the ways that I'm doing it most is how I've been trying to do it the health, like take care of my health is like one of the first ways that I try to love on myself and to make it so that way I do have energy to take care of others. And I think that's probably something that we all strive to do, is to be a healthier version of ourselves, because we know that that's the best way we can give our all to someone else. But it's tricky. It's very tricky to take care of ourselves. And we may not always see that health aspect as a way to love ourselves. We might see breakfast bars as a way to or snacks. Food is another way I love.
I remember when I was about 14 or 15, my mum brought me a book, The ABC of Loving Yourself, and it had like A for appreciation and J for joy and all of these beautiful, cute little pictures of animals making the letters and doing all the things that were in the book. So I'll have to see if I can dig that up and have a look and see what it says. Sort of, maybe that's a good way to blend into the podcast as well. Just the ABCs of loving yourself. I'll have to try and remember what it says. And I don't even know like who it was by or anything like that at the moment, or even if it's still in print or anything. Melody Godfred, it tells me here, but I don't know if that's the one. That's the same one. It looks like it might be different. Yeah, it might be different, I think. But in this version that I've just found on the internet, it says D is for dive into self-love. And you look in the mirror and think, yuck. So it encourages positive thinking about life. And reading up on loving yourself can really help put that into action. Or listening to this podcast, perhaps, as well. So, but yeah, I'll dig it up and I'll have to send some through to you, Jill.
Definitely. I'd like to see that. That'd be a nice, helpful way of understanding love. Yeah.
Yeah. So as Jill loves the day away and tries to wrangle the toddler into what we can, whatever we can manage. I'm gonna finish this up because we do
that
love
line I was talking about in the beginning.
Right on cue.
Yeah.
We hope that you are loving yourself as much as possible, and yes, can take what you need from this episode in moving forward. And feel free to reach out to us. All of our details are in the show notes. And Jill, until next week, we're sliding out of here.
Yeah, we hope you can unstuck your back.
Okay, bye.
Bye.